How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, May 28th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Thursday, May 27th, 2021. And of course, I'm going to preview everything today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Getting started with the NBA, there were 3 playoff games yesterday, and the very first playoff game took place in Miami as the 6-seed defending Eastern Conference champs Miami Heat hosted the 3-seed Milwaukee Bucks. And in this matchup, the 3-seed Milwaukee Bucks would beat the 6-seed Miami Heat 113-84 to pick up their third win of the series. The difference would come, of course, in the first quarter where the Bucks outscored the Heat by 12, and then the Bucks had also outscored the Heat by 13 in the third. For the Miami Heat in this matchup, their leading scorer would end up being their elite starting small forward, Jimmy Butler out of Marquette. He finished with 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in 38 minutes as he shot 7 for 17 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Alongside him in their starting lineup, their elite starting center, Bam Adebayo, would finish with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists in 32 minutes. Bam would shoot 7 for 14 from the field and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. For the Milwaukee Bucks, their leading scorer would end up being their starting small forward, their former All-Star Chris Middleton. Middleton would finish with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in 34 minutes. He would shoot 8 for 16 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. And then also in their starting lineup, their elite starting power forward, the reigning NBA All-Star Game MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, would finish with 17 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 assists in 33 minutes, as the Greek Freak would shoot 6 for 12 from the field and 5 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the 3-seed Milwaukee Bucks have now taken a 3-0 series lead over the 6-seed Miami Heat. The very next game of this series will be, of course, played tomorrow on TNT, as the next game will be played in Miami. The next win for Milwaukee could secure a spot in the very next round of this series. Or of the playoffs. So that was the very first game last night. The second playoff game yesterday took place in Staples Center as the 7-seed defending champs Los Angeles Lakers out west hosted the 2nd-seed Phoenix Suns. And in this matchup, the defending champs Los Angeles Lakers would beat the Suns 109-95. The big difference would be the third quarter, where the Lakers outscored the Suns 33-23 by 10. And with this momentum, they would pick up their second win of the series. For the Phoenix Suns, their leading scorer was their starting center, the number 1 overall pick from the 2018 draft, Deandre Ayton. He finished with 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 41 minutes, as Ayton shot 11 for 15 from the field. Their elite starting shooting guard out of Kentucky, Devin Booker, would finish with 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists as he fouled out in 41 minutes. Devin Booker would shoot 6 for 19 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the foul line. And also in the starting lineup for the Phoenix Suns, their elite starting point guard, the president of the NBA Players Association, Chris Paul, would finish with 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in 27 minutes as he shot 3 for 8 from the field and 1 for 2 from the foul line. For the Los Angeles Lakers, their leading scorer was their elite starting power forward out of Kentucky, Anthony Davis. He finished with 34 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 turnovers in 40 minutes as he shot 11 for 22 from the field and 12 for 14 from the foul line. Their goated starting small forward, LeBron James, out of St. Vincent St. Mary High School, would finish with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 7 turnovers in 38 minutes as LeBron would shoot 9 for 19 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Also in the starting lineup for the Lakers, their starting point guard out of Germany, Dennis Schroeder, would finish with 20 points and 2 steals in 33 minutes as he shot 6 for 11 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the 7-seed Los Angeles Lakers have taken a 2-1 series lead over the 2nd-seed Phoenix Suns. Their next game will, of course, be played on the 30th, which is Sunday. That game will be on ABC, and then Game 4 will take place in Los Angeles as as the Lakers look to take a 2-game series lead at home in the first round versus the second best team in the NBA. Last but not least, jumping out to Portland, it was the Western Conference's 3-6 matchup as the 6-seed Portland Trailblazers hosted the 3-seed Denver Nuggets. In this matchup, the 3-seed Nuggets would beat the Blazers 120-115. The big difference would be the first quarter where the Nuggets outscored the Trailblazers by 9 and carried that momentum through the end of the game. In this matchup for the Trailblazers, their leading scorer would be their elite starting point guard, Damian Lillard, who finished with 37 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 40 minutes, as he shot 15 for 31 from the field, 5 for 16 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. And then their starting shooting guard, CJ McCollum out of Mercer, would finish with 22 points and 9 rebounds, alongside 5 fouls in 41 minutes, as McCollum would shoot 8 for 20 from the field and 3 for 4 from the foul line. For the Denver Nuggets, their leading scorer would end up being their elite starting center, Nikola Jokic. Jokic would finish with 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists in 35 minutes. Jokic shot 12 for 24 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Alongside him in the starting lineup, their starting guard out of Duke, Austin Rivers, would finish with 21 points in 37 minutes, as Rivers shot 7 for 14 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 3rd-seed Denver Nuggets have now taken a 2-1 series lead over the 6th-seed Portland Trailblazers after the Trailblazers won the very first game of the series. With this, like I said, the Nuggets now lead this series 2-1. Game 4 will be played in Portland tomorrow on TNT, just to give a sense of what this series is looking like. So following these 3 games, that is what the NBA playoffs are looking like. Looking forward to what's going on today, starting at 7 on ESPN. It will be the Eastern Conference's 4-5 matchup as the 5-seed Atlanta Hawks will host the 4-seed New York Knicks in what's going to be the first Atlanta Hawks home playoff game in years. So that'll be a pretty big game to watch. This series is tied at 1. Following that at 8:30 on ABC, it will be Game 3 of the Eastern Conference's 2-7 matchup as the 7-seed Boston Celtics will host the 2-seed Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets currently lead this series 2-0 as the Celtics look to pick up at least 1 win in this series at home. And following that at 9:30, it will be the Western Conference's 4-5 matchup as the 5-seed Dallas Mavericks will host the 4-seed Los Angeles Clippers on ESPN. Right now, the 5-seed Dallas Mavericks lead the series 2-0 as a win here could possibly put them up by 3 wins, especially considering they're playing at home. That's what's going on today within the NBA. That's how the NBA playoffs are stacking up. Sticking within the playoffs in the arena, but of course switching the context to the ice, taking a look at what's going on with the Stanley Cup Playoff. There were 2 playoff games yesterday. Starting off in the North Division, it was the 1-4 matchup as the 1-seed Toronto Maple Leafs hosted the 4-seed Montreal Canadiens. In a game that went to overtime, the 4-seed Montreal Canadiens would keep themselves alive in the playoffs. And with this win, they currently trailed the Maple Leafs 3-2 in that series, but at the end of the day, they're very much still alive. And following that, it was the Central Division's 1-4 matchup as the 4-seed Nashville Predators hosted the 1-seed Carolina Hurricanes. In a game that went to overtime, the Carolina Hurricanes would end up tying the game to go to overtime, and then they would win the game in overtime to pick up the 4-2 series win. And now the Carolina Hurricanes will advance to play against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round of this division. So right now, that is what the Stanley Cup Playoff is looking like. Looking forward to what's going on today. It'll be Game 7 in the Western Division semifinals as the 2-seed Las Vegas Golden Knights will host the 3rd-seed Minnesota Wild. This game will be on NBC Sports Network, and the winner of this matchup will, of course, make it into the next round. So that, of course, is what playoff hockey is looking like at this very moment. And then really quickly looking at what's going on in the world of baseball. There were 2 doubleheaders that took place in New York yesterday. Starting off with the Mets, the New York Mets hosted the Colorado Rockies for a doubleheader. In the first game, the Mets would beat the Rockies 1-0 after the only run of the game was a Jose Peraza home run in the third inning. For the Rockies in the first game of this doubleheader, the start and the loss went to German Marquez. Marquez would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6 batters. He would pitch the entire game for the Rockies and pick up the loss nonetheless. Nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and of course a lot of that can be attributed to great New York Mets pitching. For the Mets, the start and the win went to Marcus Stroman out of Duke, who finished with no earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He struck out 3 on the day. With this win, he is 4-4 as a starting pitcher, and the save went to Edwin Diaz. Diaz would allow no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched as he struck out 1 as he picked up his 9th save of the year. Nobody on the Mets would finish with more than 1 hit as Jose Peraza, their second baseman, would go 1-for-2 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 2nd home run of the season, and following this win, the Mets would also pick up the 2nd win of the doubleheader as well as they beat the Rockies 4-2. In the 2nd game of this doubleheader, the start and the loss for the Rockies would go to Antonio Senzatella. Senzatella would allow 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3 on the day. With this loss, Senzatella is 1-5 as a starting pitcher for Colorado. And in the 2nd game of this matchup, no one would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to New York Mets pitching as well. The start went to Joey Lucchesi. Lucchesi would allow 1 earned run in 3.2 innings pitched, as Lucchesi would go on to strike out 2 on the day. The win for the Mets would go to their 2nd relief pitcher, Aaron Loup. Loup would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2 on the day. Nobody on the Mets would finish with more than 1 run in this matchup, but their right fielder, Billy McKinney, would end up going 1-for-2 with 2 runs. And then Peraza would go 1-for-2 with 2 RBIs in the 2nd game. With this double win, the New York Mets are now 24-20. That is currently the best record in the National League East. They sit 2.5 games ahead of the 2nd place Philadelphia Phillies in the division. The New York Mets have now won 6 of their last 10 games. With these 2 losses, the Colorado Rockies are now 19-32. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They now trail the San Diego Padres by 13 games in the division. The Colorado Rockies have now lost 6 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to the doubleheaders in Yankee Stadium, the Yankees hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. In the first game, the Blue Jays would beat the Yankees 2-0. Both of their runs would come in the 3rd inning off of solo home runs from Marcus Semien and Bo Bichette. For the New York Yankees in this first matchup, the start and the loss would go to Domingo German. German would allow 2 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Domingo German is 4-3 as a starting pitcher for the Yankees this season, and their left fielder Miguel Andujar will be the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2-for-3. He was the only player with a hit for that matchup as well. The start and the win for Toronto would end up going to Alek Manoah. Manoah would allow no earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7 on the day. With this win, he is 1-0 on the season. And the save, of course, will go to their relief pitcher, Jordan Romano, their only relief pitcher of the day. Romano would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 1. That's his 2nd save of the year. In their batting lineup, Semien and Bo Bichette would both go 1-for-3 with an RBI and a run. They both hit solo home runs. Semien hit his 13th and Bo Bichette hit his 10th. Looking at the 2nd game of this matchup, the Yankees would actually beat the Blue Jays 5-3 to even it up for the day, as Loaiza would pick up his 4th win of the season. For the Blue Jays, the start and the loss would end up going to Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray will go on to allow 4 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Robbie Ray is 2-2 as a starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, as nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit. But in this game, Bo Bichette would hit his 11th home run of the season, his 2nd of the day. He would go 1-for-3 with 3 RBIs and a run. He had all 3 of the RBIs for Toronto. And then for the Yankees, the start went to Jordan Montgomery, who allowed 3 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. The win, however, will go to the Yankees' first relief pitcher, Jonathan Loaiza. Loaiza would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Loaisiga is 4-2 as a relief pitcher this season. And the save would go to Chad Green. Green would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. With this save, Chad Green now has 2 on the season. Their elite first baseman, DJ LeMahieu, would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their elite designated hitter, Aaron Judge, would go 1 for 1 with a walk as he finished with 3 RBIs and a run as Judge hit his 13th home run of the season. And then last but not least, their catcher, Gary Sanchez, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as Sanchez hit his 6th home run of the season. With this series split, the New York Yankees are now 29-21. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 2 games in the division. The New York Yankees have won 7 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are 25. Or with this series split, with this win and loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 25-24. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 5.5 games in the division. The Toronto Blue Jays have lost 7 of their last 10. Looking at the games that weren't doubleheaders, jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Phillies were able to beat the Marlins 3-2 thanks to thanks to a crazy play in the 9th that would end up bringing Odubel Herrera to the plate. For the Miami Marlins in this matchup, the start will go to Pablo Lopez. Lopez would allow 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The loss will go to their closer, Yimi Garcia. Garcia would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, Yimi Garcia is 3-3 this season. Nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and of course that can be attributed to great Philadelphia pitching. The start for the Philadelphia Phillies would go to Spencer Howard. Howard would allow 1 earned run in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The blown save in the win would go to the Philadelphia Phillies' second relief pitcher, Jose Alvarado. Alvarado would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1, even though he walked 3. He blew his first save of the season, but with this win, he is 4-0 as a relief pitcher. And Hector Neris would pick up his 9th save of the year as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, striking out 1. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Odubel Herrera, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs on the day, and the only other player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Rafael Marchán. Marchán will go 2 for 4 on the day for the Phillies. With this win, the Phillies are now 25-26. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East. They now sit 2.5 games behind the first-place New York Mets. The Phillies have won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are 24-26. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They now trail the New York Mets by 3 games in the division. The Miami Marlins have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs were able to beat the Pirates 5-3 to give Kyle Hendricks his 5th win of the season. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start and the loss would go to Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson would allow 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Tyler Anderson is 3-5 as a starting pitcher this year. Their second baseman, Adam Frazier, would go 2 for 4 on the day, and then their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, would be the only other player with more than 1 hit. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as Brian Reynolds hit his 5th home run of the season. For the Chicago Cubs, the start and the win went to Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks would allow 3 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, Kyle Hendricks is 5-4 as a starting pitcher. The save would go to Ryan Tepera. Tepera would allow no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2 on the day. In their batting lineup, their catcher, Wilson Contreras, would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their elite first baseman, Chris Bryant, former National League MVP, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 11th home run of the season. And then their right fielder, Patrick Wisdom, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as Wisdom hit his 1st home run of the season for the Cubs. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 27-22. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by half a game in the division, and the Cubs have now won 8 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 18-31. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by 9.5 games in the division, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have now lost 9 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers would host the Cleveland Indians, and the Indians would beat the Tigers 5-2 after the Indians scored 3 runs in the 6th inning. For the Detroit Tigers in this matchup, the start and the loss would end up going to Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd would allow 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5 on the day. With this loss, Matt Boyd is 2-6 as a starting pitcher for the Tigers this season, and no one in their batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit on the day. And then a lot of that can be attributed to great Cleveland pitching. The start and the win went to their elite starting pitcher, the reigning American League Cy Young winner, Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber allowed 1 earned run and only 1 hit in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 12 on the day. With this win, Shane Bieber is 5-3 on the season for the Indians. And in their batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. Their right fielder, Harold Ramirez, would end up with 2 hits on the day as he went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as well as a walk. Their left fielder, Eddie Rosario, would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as Eddie Rosario hit his 4th home run of the season. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are 27-21. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 1.5 games in the division, and the Indians have won 6 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 19-31. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 10.5 games in the division. The Tigers have now lost 5 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the San Diego Padres, and in a game that went all the way into the 10th inning, the Brewers would win it on a walk-off single from Jackie Bradley to win the game, basically. For the San Diego Padres, the start would end up going to Ryan Weathers. Ryan Weathers would allow no earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 5. He only allowed 1 hit in the 4 innings that he pitched. The loss, however, would go to their closer, Miguel Diaz. Diaz would allow no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Diaz is 2-1 as a relief pitcher for the San Diego Padres. Their left fielder, Tommy Pham, would go 2 for 5 with a run on the day. Their elite shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr., would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he had 2 walks as well. Their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as Hosmer hit his 5th home run of the season. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start would end up going to Adrian Hauser. Adrian Hauser would go on to allow no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. He only allowed 1 hit as well, but the win would, of course, go to relief as the win would end up going to Brent Suter. Suter would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter, but with this win, Suter is 4-3 as a relief pitcher for Milwaukee. Their shortstop, Willy Adames, would end up going 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run as Willy Adames hit his 6th home run of the season yesterday. And then their right fielder, Avi Garcia, will go 2 for 4 on the day. He was the only other player with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 25-25. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by 3 games in the division. The Milwaukee Brewers have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 32-19. That is the best record in the National League West, and that is the best record in the National League, and that is the best record in the major leagues. They currently sit half a game ahead of the second place Los Angeles Dodgers in their division, and the San Diego Padres have now won 8 of their last 10 games. I guess if you include this loss, they've lost 2 of their last 10. Jumping out to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, the Washington Nationals hosted the Cincinnati Reds, and they were able to pull off a 5-3 win at home as all 3 of the Reds' runs would come after the Nats scored their 5. For the Cincinnati Reds in this matchup, the start and the loss would go to Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman would allow 2 earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out none, but he walked 5. With this loss, he is 3-4 as a starting pitcher for the for the Cincinnati Reds, And the Reds batting lineup, their elite third baseman Eugenio Suarez would go 2 for 5 with a run, and the only other player with more than 1 hit was their left fielder Jesse Winker. who went 4 for 5 with a run on the day. For the Washington Nationals, the start went to Joe Ross. Ross would allow no earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 4 on the day. The win, however, would go to the Washington Nationals relief pitcher. Their first one, Austin Voth. Voth would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Voth is now 1-0 as a relief pitcher this year, and the save would go to Brad Hand. Hand allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, and with this save, he now has 8 on the year. In their batting lineup, their first baseman and former National League MVP candidate, Josh Bell, would be the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run on the day. With this win, the Washington Nationals are 21-25. They're 21-20. They were 21-24, and then following this win for the Nationals, the Cincinnati Reds were able to beat the Nationals on the second game of this doubleheader. This is a doubleheader that I missed. I forgot to mention earlier, but in the second game of the doubleheader, the Cincinnati Reds would end up beating the Washington Nationals 3-0. Giving Sonny Gray his first win of the season. This Nationals loss would end up going to Steven Strasburg. Steven Strasburg, the former number 1 overall pick, would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Steven Strasburg is 1-2 as a starting pitcher this season, as nobody for the Nationals would finish with more than 1 hit. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start and the win went to Sonny Gray, who allowed no earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. He only allowed 2 hits as well. With his win, he is now 1-3, and the save would end up going to Lucas Sims. Sims would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1, picking up his 3rd save of the year. The only player on the team who had more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Max Schrock. Schrock went 2 for 3 on the day, but in addition to him, their elite third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs, as well as a walk, as Suarez hit his 11th home run of the season yesterday. With this split series, the Washington Nationals are now 21-25. That is the worst record in the National League East. They now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division, and they have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 22-26. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by 5 games in the division. The Cincinnati Reds have now won 3 of their last 10 games, including one of these 2. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Kansas City Royals, and the Rays were able to beat the Royals 7-2 as they scored all 7 of their runs in the first 4 innings. For the Kansas City Royals, the start and the loss would go to Brady Singer. Singer would allow 6 of the 7 runs in 2.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Brady Singer is 2-4 as a starting pitcher this year. And then there's substitution, second baseman Hanser Alberto would end up going 2 for 2 with a run, as he was the only Royals player with more than 1 hit. And then for the Tampa Bay Rays, the start and the win would end up going to Shane McClanahan. McClanahan would allow no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, he is now 2-0 as a starting pitcher this year. In their batting lineup, the only player, they had 2 players with more than 1 hit. Their left fielder, Austin Meadows, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs, as Meadows hit his first triple of the year and his 10th home run of the year. And alongside him, their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, would go 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 32-20. That is the best record in the American League East, and that is the best record in the American League. They now sit 1 game ahead of the second-place Boston Red Sox, and they have now won 9 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 23-25. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 5.5 games in the division, and the Royals have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to the south side of Chicago, the Chicago White Sox hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and the White Sox would beat the Orioles 5-1 as 3 of their runs came in the 7th. For the Orioles in this matchup, the start for Baltimore would end up going to their starting pitcher, Bruce Zimmerman. Bruce Zimmerman would allow 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss would go to the Orioles' first relief pitcher, Dylan Tate. Dylan Tate will go on to allow 1 earned run in .2 innings pitched. With this loss, Dylan Tate is 0-2 as a relief pitcher for Baltimore this year. The only Baltimore player with more than 1 hit was their designated hitter, Anthony Santander, who went 2 for 4 on the day. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the win went to their starting pitcher Dylan Cease, who allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 10 on the day. With this win, Dylan Cease is 3-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman Nick Madrigal will go 2 for 4 with a run. Their designated hitter Yermin Mercedes will go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their left fielder Andrew Vaughn would end up going 2 for 4 with a run as well. And then their right fielder Leury Garcia will go 2 for 3. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are 29-20. That is the best record in the American League Central. They sit a game and a half ahead of the second place Cleveland Indians in the division. The Chicago White Sox have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 17-33. That is the worst record in the American League East. That is currently the worst record in the American League, and that is the worst record in the entire major leagues. They now sit 14 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays in the division. The Baltimore Orioles have lost their last 10 games at the moment. Jumping out to Oakland, the Oakland Athletics hosted the Los Angeles Angels, and the A's were able to beat the Angels 5-0. All 5 of their runs would come in the 6th inning, so of course this will be a big inning for them. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start would end up going to Patrick Sandoval. Sandoval would allow no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss, however, will go to the Angels' first relief pitcher, Aaron Slegers, who allowed 4 earned runs in .1 inning pitched as he only struck out 1 batter. With this loss, Aaron Slegers is 2-2 on the season, and nobody in their batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great pitching on the side of the Oakland Athletics, as the complete game win would go to their starting pitcher, Chris Bassett. Bassett would allow no earned runs in 9 innings pitched as he only allowed 2 hits and allowed 1 walk. He struck out 9 batters. With this win, Chris Bassett is 5-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their left fielder Mark Canha will go 3 for 3 as he walked twice, and the only other player with more than 1 hit was their right fielder Stephen Piscotty. Piscotty will go 2 for 2 on the day. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 30-22. That is the best record in the American League West. They're currently tied for the second most wins in the American League. They now sit a game and a half ahead of the second place Houston Astros in the division. The Athletics have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 22-28. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 7 games in the division. The Angels have now lost 6 of their last 10. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the St. Louis Cardinals, and in a game that stretched into the 10th inning, the Cardinals will win this game thanks to an RBI double from their future Hall of Fame catcher, Yadier Molina. For the Arizona Diamondbacks in this matchup, the start would end up going to John Duplantier. John Duplantier would allow 4 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The loss, however, would go to their final pitcher of the day, Stephon Crichton. Crichton would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. With this loss, Crichton is 0-4 as a relief pitcher this year. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Ketel Marte, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. And then their first baseman, Pavin Smith, would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start went to Carlos Martinez. Martinez would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. The save, however, would end up going to their closer, Daniel Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. As he picked up his first save of the season. Their win went to their pitcher who pitched right before him, Alex Reyes. Alex Reyes, who was supposed to be their closer, allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Alex Reyes is 3-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their future Hall of Fame catcher Yadier Molina will go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run. And with this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are 28-22. That is the best record in the National League Central. They now sit half a game ahead of the second-place Chicago Cubs in the division, and the St. Louis Cardinals have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 18-33. That is the worst record in the National League West, as they now sit 14 games behind the San Diego Padres in the division. The Diamondbacks have now lost their last 10 games as a whole as a team. Jumping out to Los Angeles, the defending champs Dodgers hosted the San Francisco Giants in what's probably one of the most highly anticipated baseball rivalries of the season. In this matchup, the Dodgers would beat the Giants 4-3. For the San Francisco Giants, Alex Wood would pick up the start and his second loss of the season. He would allow 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this loss, he is now 5-2 on the year. And nobody in their batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great Dodgers pitching. The start went to David Price, who allowed no earned runs in 2.2 innings as he struck out 5 on the day. The win for the Los Angeles Dodgers would end up going to their third relief pitcher, Victor Gonzalez. Victor Gonzalez would allow 2 earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 1. He would blow his first save of the year, but he would pick up his second win of the year. He is now 2-0 on the season, and the save would go to Kenley Jansen, who would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. That's his 12th save of the year. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as Justin Turner would hit his 9th home run, Max Muncy would hit his 11th, and then their center fielder, who in this matchup was DJ Peters, would hit his first home run of the year. He went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run, and with this win, the defending champs Los Angeles Dodgers are 31-19. That is the second best record in the National League West. They now trail the San Diego Padres by half a game in the division. The Los Angeles Dodgers have won 9 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are 30-20. That is the third best record in the National League West. They now trail the San Diego Padres by a game and a half in the division. The Giants have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. And then last but not least, jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the Texas Rangers and were able to pull off a 5-0 win to give Chris Flexen his 5th win of the season. For the Rangers, the start and the loss went to Colby Allard. Allard would allow 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Allard is 1-1 as a starting pitcher for the Rangers this year. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Jose Trevino, who went 2 for 3 on the day. For the Seattle Mariners, the start and the win went to Chris Flexen, who allowed no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. With this win, Chris Flexen is 5-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their designated hitter Ty France would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their catcher Todd Murphy would be the only other player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs. Todd Murphy would hit his 5th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are now 24-27. That is the third best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 5.5 games in the division, as the Mariners have now won 3 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 22-30. That is the worst record in the American League West, as they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 8 games in the division. The Texas Rangers have now lost 6 of their last 10 games. That is what the MLB is currently looking like following yesterday's games. Looking forward to what's going on today. Today is Friday. Friday is not much of a travel day, so hopefully most teams should be situated and ready for their up-and-coming matchups today. Starting from the very top of the schedule at 2:20, Adbert Alzolay and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Vladimir Gutierrez and the Cincinnati Reds. In this game will be on ESPN+. At 6:35, Mitch Keller and the Pittsburgh Pirates will host John Gray and the Colorado Rockies. At 7:05, John Lester and the Washington Nationals will host Brett Anderson and the Milwaukee Brewers. At 7:10, Taijuan Walker and the New York Mets will host Ian Anderson and the Atlanta Braves. At the same time, Martin Perez and the Boston Red Sox will host Cody Poteet and the Miami Marlins. At the same time, Casey Mize and the Detroit Tigers are going to host the New York Yankees, led by their elite starting pitcher, 6-2 Garrett Cole. At the same time, at 7:10, Eli Morgan and the Cleveland Indians are going to host the Toronto Blue Jays, led by their elite starting pitcher, 4-2 Hyunjin Ryu. At 8:10, Dallas Keuchel and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Matt Harvey and the Baltimore Orioles. At the same time, Randy Dobnak and the Minnesota Twins are going to host Chris Bubich and the Kansas City Royals. At the same time, at 8:10, Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros are going to host Nelson Lamet and the San Diego Padres. At 9:40, Sean Manaea and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. At the same time, Madison Bumgarner and the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to host Johan Oviedo and the St. Louis Cardinals. At 10:10, the Los Angeles Dodgers, led by their elite starting pitcher, 3-0 Walker Buehler, are going to host the San Francisco Giants, led by 4-2 Anthony DeSclafani. And last but not least, Justice Sheffield and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Jordan Lyles and the Texas Rangers. Basically, that is everything that's going on from yesterday to today, and I want to thank everyone for listening to all 39 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you all tomorrow on Saturday, May 29th, once all of today's matchups are said and done. With that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 39 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another episode following this. Peace out.